So I should use myself as a yardstick to measure my own progress, not like me using another person.
On today's episode, I have with me a special guest, is my senior. I call him the mind surgeon because he talks about everything mental health. His name is Abdul Malik. On today's episode, we are going to be discussing on how we can achieve our goals. We can, check off our to-do list this year and still maintain our mental sanity. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So tell us about yourself.
I'm Abdul Malik Olashibiko. I'm a teletherapist and a clinical psychologist. I go with the popular name, the mind surgeon. I believe a lot of people pay attention more to their physical health, and pay less attention to their mental health, forgetting that mind surgery does not really need scalpel, neither does it need forceps, but we need to talk, we need to relate, we need to express how we feel in different situations. This is how mind surgery can be done. So I'm sure today we are going to do another surgery for our mind, definitely.
Yes. Thank you so much, and thank you for coming.
You're
I really
welcome.
appreciate it.
You're welcome.
One of your classes that I joined online,
Okay.
you were talking about, I joined late. So one thing I learned, or one thing I picked up or I met, was asanas or psychological critics.
Yeah. Then we're talking about we have a community online. We call it the Mind Clinic. So this is where we believe you can bring your mind, and we help you to reposition the mind, because most of the time when the mind is faulty, it affects behavior and day-to-day living. So we do this every Wednesday. And with the one you're talking about, we started with self-esteem actually.
Okay.
So I think probably the day you came in,
Yes.
was the day we're talking about pathological critic.
Yes.
And I said that pathological critic is one of the arsenal of psychological damage. When you're we all have critic, but the way we deal with our critic differs. And this stems from different things you get. So when psychological damage would occur, it's not something that is sudden. It doesn't just happen. It starts from, in fact, let me say from our childhood. So if those things we have learned from the childhood, most of the time from our parents, are nurtured as we grow, definitely it goes a long way. So that could bring about a lot of psychological damage. Yeah.
So how does those damages affect us achieving our goal?
In achieving our goal, there are so many things. As individuals, we define goals differently. We have different goals as well. So some can be flexible. We have different mindset in human beings. Some mindsets are flexible, some are very, very rigid. And how does this happen? Some would believe strictly that if they did not achieve their goal, they are a bad person, like they don't worth living. Some would go and call themselves names as stupid, failure, I'm worthless, and all. Where was it written that if you did not achieve your goal, you are a failure? But how do we come about it? Depends on the values, that we have. And most of the time, these values are what were ingrained in us. Start from what were ingrained in us at our childhood. Most times then, if you go to school, if you didn't come with good grades, they'll call you names, you understand? I could remember when I was in GSS 1, a colleague of mine in school back then, out of 14 prizes, she won 12. I did not win any. And the truth is, that was the first and the last end of the year party my dad attended. The following session, I got a pay cut. So I was like, okay, I'm bringing my report sheet home. No, I have 90s too. I have 80s. To me, I didn't do bad.
Yes.
But somebody must be first position, somebody must be second. That's just the way it is. So definitely, I'm not really a bad person. It took me a while to convince him, but the mindset was, how can somebody be getting all the prizes and you all are there like you are a bunch of goats. I could remember that was what he said. So I didn't really let that get into me because I knew I didn't really do bad. But these were some of the definitions that we've had. Oh, if you meet up with our parents' expectation, we are good. If we do not meet up, we are bad. These values could set us up for psychological damage. Another place where we get it is from our peers, when we try to gain peer acceptance. If you do something that your peers are doing, then at least you can be welcome. So if you did not do, then they can call you names and all. These are the main values actually where they are like the bottom line, and most time people overlook these things a lot. They do not really see because mental health is different from physical health. If you have malaria, you may be down, you may not be able to do some of the things you do every day. But if it is mental health issues, you may still be going on with your life.
Yes,
fine.
Nobody will know something.
Nobody would know. So, and that is one of the reasons why we believe in Mindly telepsychological service, that if you take care of your mind very well, it will really, really help to boost not only your mental well-being, but also your physical well-being. That's
your values are related to how you react to your goals.
Exactly.
If they are wrongly placed, you would react to your goals in a negative way. Exactly.
Because the values that you hold, we summarize values with few words: commitment, integrity.
Yes.
Those words. What does integrity means to you? What does it mean to another person? What does respect means to you? Some would say you'd not have integrity. Okay, you said you were going to do something, you did not do it. Then you may begin to push that to yourself. I said I was going to read 5 books this month. You did. It may not really be that the problem is that you don't want to read the 5 books. What strategy do you have in place to reading the 5 books? How do you want to go about it? These are some of the things that people most of the time do not get right. No, first scan yourself. Do a form of self-awareness. You know yourself. You know your capability. Like, be real to yourself. Okay, don't try to overload yourself with so many schedules. And how do people do these things a lot of time? In one word, comparison. Oh, because my friend has read 60 books. I know a lady, she reads a lot. I think this year so far, maybe she said she has read about 40 books or so. I know my own marks.
Just 2 months.
I know my marks. It takes me February 1st, I said I was going to read a book. Up to now, I'm yet to finish reading. It's not like I don't want to finish reading the book. But okay, I know this is what I want to get from the book. So if it will take me 2 months, no, let me be flexible with myself. If that would help my mental health, then okay, let me take 2 months. I'm not her, and I cannot read like her. Okay. At the same time, what we want to get from the book differ. So if I know this for myself, it will give me some kind of flexibility. That okay, I will know when to read and how to read. What are my spare times? What are my spare time? I mean, the contract of time management. We have about 4 quadrants there. One is urgent and important, urgent, not important, not urgent, important, not urgent, not important. This is how I have other things I do. It is not only book reading. So sometimes the book may actually be important, but it may not be urgent.
Okay.
When we also talk about how it affects mental health, people use 2 words that are very, very common. I guess you met that in the session: shoulds and must. When I was talking about shoulds and must, should is, I call these 2 arsenal of psychological damage, because arsenal are like weapons. So when you say weapons that set you up for psychological, there are so many weapons in mental health that could set you up for but these 2, I must do this, I should do this. This has set a lot of people to so many problems. Because I should do this. No, why must you do it?
Do it, right? That is where your value comes in.
Why must you do it? One thing I'd say a lot of times is, once you're able to uncover where your should comes from, it could be that probably it could even be from peers. Sometimes we learn some things from our peer. If I did not read as much as my peer are reading, okay, I'm going to fail. Okay, now tell yourself, I am different. That was what, when we were in that group and the lady was like, okay, she had read this book. I am not you. I am different from
Different.
you. I know my limits and I know what I could do. I know how fast I could read. Do you understand?
Yes.
Having that clear consciousness of self-awareness, would enable you to properly set your goal at your own pace. And with that, your mental health will be intact.
Wow.
Do you get that?
Yes.
So in trying to do this, one should be very careful of language. Like the languages, be careful with the words. Always, never, all. Because you say, all this thing, I must do this. I should do this. Be careful of those words. So most times what I do basically, and I use this a lot in chat, you must have even heard me say, I would say, I'd rather do this.
So when you're setting your goals or your to-do list, you shouldn't say, I must achieve this.
No.
It's like you're placing an ultimatum on yourself.
You are like setting up yourself that, okay, if you did not, maybe there will be a negative consequence. Maybe there will be, so that message would, that thing that you say will automatically send a message to your brain. Okay, so you have a task to do, and if you did not finish that task, now your pathological critic will come that you said you're going to do something, now you did not do it, definitely you are a failure, you don't have integrity, you don't have respect for yourself, then begins to say those things are what will now make you to feel gloomy. Then depression would set in. You now say, okay, you have a bad day, I said I was going to do this, I said I was going to do that. You get it? Those things will now be the one that will now damage one's mental health. So instead of you saying, I must do this, today I want to do the following. Not today I must do the following.
And this and that. That's what you said, because you've mentioned a lot of points.
Okay.
First of all, you said that knowing your values matter.
Exactly.
Know what your own core values are.
Exactly.
In one of my videos, which I'm going to link up, I mentioned that you have to align your values with your goals.
Definitely.
So when you know your value, and like when you were mentioning your friend, it really resonated with me. I should not be comparing myself to another person because our values are different.
Even the Bible says that comparison is a thief of joy.
Yes,
definitely.
Yes.
If you're doing that, you won't appreciate what you have. Like you won't look inward to appreciate yourself. So everything will be external. Oh, I am not doing as much as this person is doing. That the truth is, your purpose may not be the same as that person.
Yes.
So it's not like you are wasting your time even comparing yourself with the person.
Thank you. You also mentioned use your usage of words when you're setting goals. Don't say I should achieve this, I must achieve this, I must do this. You say I would
I want to do this.
Yes,
I'll prefer. So it's better than I should do this. It's better than I must do this.
Another thing you mentioned that I want to emphasize is setting goals. You said at least 3. Don't overwhelm yourself with goals, with to-do list, with list of things you want to do.
Definitely.
You mentioned the 4 quadrants in time management, and what I could deduce from that is know where your priorities lies. Like each of the goals you have set, know where they lie, so you will know the pressing one at the moment.
Exactly.
And so you are not forced to achieve everything and later on not achieve anything.
There's a time I call that unpack your backpack. You're setting up a day. Remove everything you have in your backpack, put them down, and pick only the ones you want to use for that day and put it in the pack. That's it. Why carrying a whole bulk of loads at your back when only you need just few things to use that very day? So you don't really need a lot of to-do lists. Let it be concise. Let it be the ones okay, today these ones are very important, let me do this. By the time you do that today, you will even feel good about yourself. So these are some of the things that we can do to balance our goal and our mental well-being.
Wow, you mentioned a lot. Thank you so much. So
You're welcome.
You're basically telling us that we can achieve our goal and still have a healthy self-image, how we view ourselves. Our mental health is on point.
Definitely.
Because I think the last point you mentioned now is rest. rest is important. Don't
Definitely.
overwork. Like nothing should take the place of rest. Is there any final word you want to tell us? Anything you want to say
Yeah,
for
basically,
now?
this is what I say most times. People should understand that mental illness is preventable because
Mm-hmm.
help is available. So you can get help even from the comfort of your room. You can get an online therapy. You can not necessarily have to go to a mental health facility.
Mm-hmm.
Help is available to prevent mental breakdown. Seek help. You get so at every point we should know when to apply our mental break to avoid mental breakdown.
How can we reach you, and what are the other platforms you have?
You can reach out to me on Facebook and LinkedIn, Abdul Malik Yemiola Oshubiko. On my Instagram and Twitter is at the Malik Malik, THE Malik Malik, MLIK. So you can see on the screen. And I run an online psychology firm. It's called Mindly Telepsychological Services. So at Mindly, we provide direct to access psychological services to clients via internet, text, and mobile communication. So this is what we do: provide psychological assessment, intervention, and some all other, even consultation as well, and mental health talk. It could be for groups, it could be for churches, mosques, and all, even schools.
All his details will be in the description box, so make sure you click on them, check them out, check the website out, speak to someone about it. If your goals are becoming overwhelming, make sure you speak to someone. The last exercise we had, I mentioned something like know who you can call for help at every particular time.
Exactly.
You cannot achieve all your goals yourself. You need people.
Exactly.
Is it a forum? Is it a group? Is it somebody you need to call that can help you out? Okay, thank you so much for watching this episode. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope to see you in my next episode. Okay, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health. Bye.